This episode is brought to you by 1Password. Imagine what your brain could remember if it didn't have to hold on to 100 different passwords. Free your brain from remembering passwords. Get 1Password. 1Password combines industry-leading security with award-winning design to bring private, secure, and user-friendly password management to everyone. Don't let security slow your business down. Go to onepassword.com/technews to start your 2-week free trial.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. The governor of Arizona saying nobody will be deported. And Tom Homan, the new border czar for President Trump, is coming in.
Did anybody tell her there's a new sheriff in town?
Yeah, and Tom Homan is saying, we're coming. Well, joining us now, John, is Congressman Andy Biggs from the great state of Arizona. Congressman, we love having you on. What was your reaction? It's a Democratic governor, and she's joining, J.B. Pritzker in Illinois and a couple others that are saying, no, I don't care who they are. We're not going to deport them. We're not going to help Trump.
Well, I immediately started thinking of all the ways we can leverage her to retract that most ridiculous, illegal statement. So that's what we're going to have to do. It doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, I served with her in the state legislature for a while, and I'll just tell you, the first act she did when she became governor was to disband the Arizona Department of Public Safety Border Security Task Force.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, that's her first act. And so it doesn't surprise me at all, but it's not going to be so easy for her to do that. Not going to be so easy.
Congressman, how is there voter fraud in Arizona? How are these people allowing these people just to come in and hurt their families?
Well, it's crazy. I mean, I'll just tell you the state almost entirely went red this time. I'm talking from the top of the ticket down. We lost Kari Lake, unfortunately, but we picked up seats in the legislature, the counties, the cities, school boards. But for some reason, 2 years ago, we got this weird deal where you have the top 3 or 4 officials in the state of Arizona are all Democrat. They all won their seats. And we got to knock them out next time. We have to knock them out.
Yeah, well, it's preposterous.
We had lunch today with Governor Abbott, and he's done a great job in Texas. And I just don't understand. Kamala Harris is 3,144 counties in the country, and she only won 525 of them or something like that.
Yeah, it's like America has spoken. And yet, for some reason, it seems like your governor, sorry to say because it's your state, obviously not yours, Congressman, but.
Sad but fair.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, you know how much we love you. But you're sitting, it's like, what are they thinking? And you're right there on the border. You've got a border there. I mean, you are right there on the front lines. And the thing that's going to be interesting too, Governor, is, we were just talking, Tom Homan was invoking, and Judge Weinberg, this is 18 USC, right?
Section 2.
Yeah, and this,
aiding, abetting.
You probably heard this, that he said, listen, if they won't hand them over, especially these bad ones, I mean, a lot of them with rap sheets of murder and sex offenses, he's saying we'll go after them using that code for aiding and abetting. So where do you see this headed, Congressman?
Well, I think he's exactly right, and I've said that for a long time. I know Tom's been saying it for a long time too. These sanctuary cities and states, they are aiding and abetting these illegal aliens, especially the criminal illegal aliens. They're all criminals because they crossed illegally. That's why the terms are there, and it is a crime to enter the U.S. But here's the thing. I actually spoke with a number of state legislators in Arizona over the last couple of days, and I said, I don't want to butt into your affairs at the state legislature, but if she really doesn't allow ICE to do its job, she needs to be impeached. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line.
Amen.
Yeah, amen. And Tony, you had an idea of how to get
I think
to them.
What you need to do is you need to shame the governor. Because the first round you're trying to deport, it's not, you're not separating families. There's a list of X number of criminals you're trying to, you know who they are, you have their photo, you know the crime they're accused of. Governor, these are the people I'm coming to get. I'm not pulling people out of their beds that have little kids, and no, I'm taking the criminals, and you're telling your constituents you don't want to help me? How does that fly?
Yeah, the public relations shaming.
Yeah, just put the ads out there in the newspapers. Photos with the crime they committed. Here's who I want.
Your thoughts, Congressman Biggs?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the first place that we're going to go, you have over 1.5 million people who already have deportation orders that had due process. Then you've got over 500,000 people who have either been convicted or indicted for criminal offenses. Those are the 2+ million you're going to go for.
Yep.
And I will tell you, that's where you go. The public will be outraged. Here's the deal. In order to know shame and respond to it, you have to know shame. You have to understand that you're being shamed. And I don't know that she's going to be able to catch on to that. Now, maybe one of her advisors, I know a couple of her advisors, maybe they can catch on. But here's the deal. If she takes that stand, then she's going to have a real tough time getting reelected.
She's arguing to protect these criminals?
Yeah, well,
again,
she is. That's what the whole deals have been about. But I'll just tell you, just like the rest of the country, though, Arizona went red and gave a strong statement. Donald Trump won significantly in Arizona. They didn't. They thought it was going to be close. It was far better than we thought it would be. And there is a mandate in the state to go red, and she's going to have to respond to that.
Yeah.
Look, we're not heartless. You're going to make an argument that there are certain people that did sneak into the country and are trying to start a good life for themselves. By the way, over the next couple of years, make that argument, but let's get the criminals out now. And
also, Tony and Congressman, of those criminals, and you just so eloquently described it, it's about 500,000. It's 13 million convicted murderers that we know of. It's 15,000 convicted sex offenders. Like you said, I mean, these people, they know who they are. So that's going to keep, you would think, local law enforcement and ICE, right. All those guys, start with them.
While that's happening, we can discuss all the others.
Right. I mean, It is going to be. How do you see this playing out, Congressman? Because President Trump is saying he wants to start a day one. And Tom Homan, who we all know, he's a friend of the show, he's been on here a lot. He's saying he's going to hit the ground running day one. You can either, if you're going to stand in my way, we're going to go through you, was his
60
answer.
60 days to go.
Yeah, he's ready. Tom's ready. I know he's had a plan since he left office, right? Left his position, and there are a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people at ICE and others that are working border enforcement, CBP. They're ready to enforce the law. They want to do it on day one. And I'll just tell you the other thing that happens when people start seeing you deporting. There'll be a lot of self-deportations. That's what happens. They will leave. Eisenhower proved it when he did a big deportation, and that's what's going to happen. So I'm grateful Trump's there, and I'm grateful he put Tom Homan there, who's really tough. And there's some other guys that are out there that are really equally tough that I would love to see working in that. But it will happen, and people like Governor Katie Hobbs in Arizona, they will not be able to stand in the way of that.
Yeah, one of the other things, there was a hearing today, and it started yesterday, it extended today. It was heartbreaking on these 300,000 missing kids. I mean, you never heard Kamala Harris talk about the 300,000 missing kids, migrant kids. That's another thing we know. Tom Homan's going to try to track them down. President Trump said he's going to try to find them. There was one guy who said he was a sponsor, claimed he was a sponsor, Congressman, and he brought in 2,500 kids. This is not like somebody who wants to be dad to these 2,500 kids. It's heartbreaking.
Right. We fear some of them have been killed, sold into sex slavery, being used as underage cheap labor, that type of thing. But the bottom line, you get back to it, and you really hit on it. We had Becerra in front of us today. They claimed that they vetted these people. They didn't vet these people. You actually had an MS-13 become a sponsor. They didn't vet that dude. He was just an MS-13 guy. You've had others where the sponsors have killed, raped these people, pedophiles, all of that. But this administration never takes accountability. And that's why one of the reasons I think they lost is because the American people said, we want accountability. Things aren't good. We think you did it. And we can't put Kamala Harris there. But that's right. Big, huge problem. We've got to fix that.
Wow, that's amazing that a gang member said he wants to sponsor and he gets the child. One of the things too, Tren de Aragua, the other gang, the Venezuelan gang, and by the way, the brother of Jose Ibarra, who thank goodness just got the ultimate penalty there in Georgia that the judge would allow in this case, life in prison. That's the Laken Riley case. Thank goodness he's been sentenced. But that's now supposedly in like 16 states. I was watching somebody from Tennessee today talking about how bad it is that they're going after cops. I mean, how bad is it in your state?
It's present in our state, but it's actually present in D.C. now. It is spreading around. By the way, MS-13 is in virtually every state. There are cartel affiliates in virtually every community. I've been briefed on that. Virtually every community in this country. And now Tren de Aragua is coming in, and they are particularly vicious and brutal. And, you know, by the way, on the Laken Riley, you got Jose Ibarra, who's the murderer. The prosecutor there, the DA, did not request the death penalty, did not do the proper pledge.
Yeah, why
we
is
were wondering
that?
why.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, she is a dyed-in-the-wool Harris Waltz person. She's one of these social justice warrior types, and you know, I'm glad she prosecuted, but she did not go after the death penalty in what I consider to be a very heinous case with the requisite.
The public is not served by having this guy in prison for 60 years or what. It's
right.
Ridiculous.
And I don't know if you saw his face today, guys, when he was
no remorse.
He was just kind of sitting there smiling, like no big deal. I mean, if anybody deserves,
he's a walking advertisement.
He will prosper
walking
in prison.
Advertisement for the death penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you explained it because we couldn't figure out why they didn't go for it because Georgia's death penalty eligible.
He'll be the gang lord in prison.
Yeah, how sad is that?
Well, it's ridiculous, and that's one of the. I'm glad he was convicted, but in reality, if you want to deter, I mean, what is the death penalty other than a specific and a general deterrence, and allows society to heal a little bit, and now you have some specific deterrence because he's going to be in prison, but he's going to be with other people in prison. They will. He's going to probably
with nothing to
cause
lose.
Trouble there.
And correction officers have to be on guard for the next 60 years.
Yeah,
right.
Congressman,
Nothing
thank you. We
Thank
love
you so
having you
much,
on.
Congressman.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks.
You're always fighting the great fight.
Please
Thank you for joining
protect
us.
Arizona.